1. Okay, I think we should be good. Purple guy!
Yeah! Justice!
I'm gonna congest you.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm in! I'm in!
I'm gonna throw you.
Throat me?
Nope.
Yep. I don't remember what I was doing. Well, I do, but shut up. I don't know which spot I was in. Oh, I think I know. Hold on. Gotta go. God, I gotta go. Actually, I think. What are they called? The ventures are done. Like. Yep, they're complete.
Nope.
Yep. Oh, complete. Greg got some meat. Oh. It's so warm. Copper ore? Player 1 Dylan got copper ore. Wonder who that handsome guy is.
My name is Jose Enrique
Oh,
Delgado.
Delgado?
Something like that. I don't know. What
Something like that.
I kind of want a foldable phone.
I want to fold you. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not very nice of you.
I don't care. No. Animal hide. Hide from an animal. Lalafell. Hunt it like a... Like a... What the fuck is the word? Like a ball. Ever. Hunt it like a soccer ball. That's the word. Don't craft in front of me. Where the fuck was I last? Oh. No, I don't need to do that. I need to teleport. That's what I need. Central Shroud? I think. Can't remember. No, it was not Central. Oh, it was. Oh, it was East Shroud. Did I just see a Rathalos? That was not a Rathalos. That was another drag. That was a dragon. So, which side was I think over here? So, I gotta get over. Go for Breeze! Ew. Who do I want to talk to? I'll talk to Amexia.
Hexia?
Standard spectrum die from this. That's cool. Walking one. I barely walk. Wild boars and musk dogs. I gotta go here. Stupid looking lemur. Big dogs. Hey, yeah, that says boring weevil. I was wondering if that said.
I don't know who you think you are.
Who do you think you are? Buttholes. That was fast. Where's the dipshit? There it is. In the onion fairy. Why would I call them dipshits? I love the onion fairies. Especially when I think I almost cried when that one died during story, the AAR thing. Or AA. Oh my god, I can't speak.
ARR?
A Realm Reborn. I'm just gonna call it that. Fucking stupid.
You said it right like 3 times.
Oh. No, I said AAR, not ARR.
I didn't hear that.
Oh. I'm gonna put... Oh yeah, I did get the stuff out of the right saddlebag because I did pay for the whatever it's called. Okay. I find some threads for you, apparently. I wanna, but fuck you, I guess. Kidding, I love the onion. I gotta go here. Cloud silk. I think the one is in the tree? Huh?
Huh?
Right. Thing it's oh no, it's right here. It's literally on a fucking rock. Okay. It's a rock! There go, Amnesia the Dark Descent. There's your thread.
I'm gonna destroy you.
What?
Yabba dabba doo.
Oh.
Ah!
What?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Oh. whatever. Watch, I don't know.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you.
It's only May.
Merry Christmas to you. You get nothing, you been naughty.
Bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, I just realized something. It's 4 days till my birthday.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Tell me what to do. I'm gonna slaughter you!
Actually, 3 days and 5 hours and 20 minutes away.
Use the empty blood bottles on the weekend digit. I'm not gonna say that word. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. That sounds very racist.
The ding dongs.
One of the ding dongs, yeah. Wait a minute, but these things are level 24. How the fuck am I supposed to weaken them?
You hit them.
Well, I seem to kill them. I think I need to get Febreze out of here. Hold on. That's saddlebag. No. Draw.
Goodbye, Febreze.
Just right click on one.
Oh, nice. I kill it in one hit. I might not be able to do this. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. How am I supposed to do that? Is there anything weaker than my normal punches?
No.
So I'm just not able to do this.
Just click on it and use the bottle.
I did. Oh, are you shitting me? I did that a little bit ago and it didn't work.
It just said that you weren't in range.
Are you shitting me? Okay, I can't fight it. There we go. It still didn't work.
I don't know.
Oh my god, this is gonna suck.
Go to your crafter and auto hit it.
Oh, that's right. What should I use? I'll hit it with a.
Does not matter.
I'm gonna hit it with a frying pan. I keep forgetting about this. I'm beating it with a frying pan. You fucker, you interrupted me. You fucker, you interrupted me. Stop interrupting me! Okay. Hurry, hurry, hurry. There we go. You really want to taste the power of my frying pan?
Bing bong!
This is gonna take forever.
You're gonna take forever.
I am.
Touch my bones.
Oh, I can't go back to
La 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 la.
Oh my god, another one of these fuckers got me. Oh, I gotcha. No, I didn't. Fuck you. Got you. Alright, let's see if I can kill this fucker. Yeah, this is not going well. Gotta get that motherfucker over there, but the other one might respawn.
Oh!
Beating them with a Doman iron fry pan. I hope you like the taste of Doman
Taste the
iron in
power.
your ass.
Taste the power of the Hingashi!
My
Ah!
God. And what did I say? It respawned. Oh shit. Fuck me, ass. That didn't work. Fuck me. You bitch. Nope, still not weak enough. Okay. Oh, I need to keep smacking it. I'll smack it like 3 more times.
I'm gonna smack you.
There we go. Your blood will taste well on my Fuck. Your blood will taste good on my dishes. I almost said dick.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, I meant to say your blood is gonna taste good on my dishes, but I can't speak tonight, apparently. There we go. I'll go back to monk. I can't change jobs. There we go. Welcome back to the land of the living, Febreze.
Everything was dark.
I got a lot of blood on my Doman iron frying pan. And I really cannot speak today. What the fuck is going on?
Brain blast.
Brain blast! Oh, Jimmy, run. Use your damn blood. I'm gonna scrape it off my frying pan. Wow, I got a cotton robe that I'm just gonna sell. Thank you for the 25 gil. Or 24 gil.
21.
Oh. Sorry, I was texting my mom. She messaged me about my birthday, actually. Like a dinner for my birthday or whatever.
Hubba hubba.
Oh, boy. What?
Merry Christmas! Oh, hey, hey. I don't know.
What am I supposed to poke? Oh, onion fairy.
Oh,
Gonna bite me.
hunger.
Oh. My tail is falling off! Hey. Flesh congratulate. I can't spell congratulate apparently, even though it's right there. Congratulate. What? Am I spelling it wrong still?
Absolutely. There is no D in congratulate.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking stupid. There we go. God.
Jesus.
This is the
You've
hardest
got a
quest
little
ever.
bit of a- You've got a little bit of a brain blast going on.
I don't know what's up with me. Like, these past few hours, it's been like dead brained.
Yeah.
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 Ad break in 5 minutes. So I get either grape juice or an antelope steak. Oh, either way, but who the fuck? Oh.
Go. Oh. 100.
21. Shut up. Die. 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 That's so many more. Die. That it? Yep, that it. Okay. I'm going to take the grape juice.
I will be right back.
All right. I'm itchy. Okay, now I need to go to over there. Up and like what? After. Holy whale. The expensive whale mount. Ugh.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. I'm on the roof. Oh my manure.
That's racist.
What? Erase. Ow. Oh my god. I'm a little tired, but I'm not going to. What am I gonna go to again? And past Dyslexia or whatever. I get a glamour speller from.
I'm just making sounds at this point.
Yeah, Sam.
It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is
Dying.
boring.
Gormagala? The old man is boring, huh?
I can't believe it.
Why can't you believe? Old man's boring.
Yes.
Angie.
Okay, never mind. I'll have to be right back again. Blah!
I hurt my. Need to put that in my chocolate saddlebag. I have like 30 of those. Red plums. Steak. A glamour present. Nice. Ugh, itchy head. I'm stuck! Ah, I got launched. God damn. Vulture? Ah. Meh. Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to fall. Ouch. Oh, that did more than half my health. Jesus Christ. We're going here? Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, there's 3 people that need something. Or 2 people that need. Oh, standard spectrum die. Okay. Oh, I'm stuck.
I'm gonna beat you.
No, you're not.
What the skitty?
What the fuck? The fuck was that noise? Oh.
What the skitty you talking about, bro?
Joe Mama. I got an itchy.
I'm gonna speak French at you.
Well, speak French at me? Please don't. That.
Oh.
Ah!
Oh. Watch
My
your
pee-pee
feet,
got turned
Barnaby.
into a baguette!
I'm trying to feed the cats right now, and Barnaby just stepped on my foot and dug in with his nail by accident.
Oh.
Watch where you're stepping, boy. Or else
The
I'm gonna
French
turn you
turned
into
my
Biden.
penis into a baguette. Oh. I'm stuck. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh my god, Febreze! Jesus Christ, you stupid fucking chocobo.
Hold on, Barnaby. Put you in a blender. Calm down. Don't make me model you in blender, bro. Hiya.
Going again?
Christian
There's
Bailey.
the merchant.
Charmander?
Yeah, Charmander. Hello, my name is Charmander. Roar. Fire, breath, ack. Ah, the breeze. Okay. We go in here? Oh my god. I do. Man, he had it easy. He had to just kill some bats? Easy. Giant trees. Back of my head's itchy.
Ding dong. Who's there?
You.
You're a ding dong. Don't call me a ding dong.
Ding dong. Oh. I'm stuck between vases. Whatever the fuck those were.
It's actually vases.
Shut up, I don't understand French.
I'm gonna tippy tippy toot up.
Okay, where the up here. Up here, I think. Go up. Febreze butt. Oh. Oh my god.
I'm gonna apple you, bro. I'm gonna turn
What
you
a
into an
banana,
apple.
you.
No! I'm already a banana.
I'm gonna make you an orange. Annoying orange.
No, 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 no.
God.
No, 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 no.
I hate that. I hate that you can do that.
It's not that hard, bro.
No, no, no. Oh, yeah, that's right.
What are you talking about? I hate that you could do that. I'm gonna turn you inside out, man.
I hope. I'm gonna drown my chocobo now. Drown memories! Just kidding.
That's kidding.
Fetch. Even though I literally did just try to drown Febreze. Let her fall. Evil onion fairies. Purple guy! I'm okay.
Your mama. Your mom.
Mamacita.
Your mom. Your mom. Your mom.
Her mom. Melt. I don't think I've fought that guy yet. I don't think I'm gonna try. Huh?
Said you are a mother.
I didn't say mother, I said melt.
And I said you are a mother.
Oh, mother!
I want skibbity you.
Oh my god.
I don't know what's going on.
I wonder if Annoying Orange has said skibbity yet.
Probably.
Oh no.
Hi, Donald.
Meow. Meow.
Who you telling to
meow.
meow?
Meow. 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 What are you looking at, Donald? Gonna skibidi? Are you skibidi or are you skibidi, boy?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm watching you. Cat. You know what? I don't like the way that you're looking at me, Donald. No food for you.
I'm an abusive cat owner. What? Do I have to
There's
kill
also
you?
another reason why he's not getting any food.
Why?
He already ate. I
Uh-oh.
just fed him like
Not an
15
excuse.
minutes ago.
Let him eat more, damn it.
Yeah, he's fat enough as it is.
Like me!
He's a big chungus.
Big shut up.
My grandma's cats are biggie chungus. Mr. Bombastic.
I'm going. I can't. Where the fuck? Who the fuck? Oh. Nervy Nipper. That's... Okay,
That's a weird
then.
name.
No thanks, I'm taking it. Jesus Christ. Nice. Done all the side quests here, so let's go to... Let's go to... South Shroud.
$1 million.
500 cigarettes.
I'm gonna go to the store and buy some cigarettes.
Can I join?
Sure, I don't care.
Just kidding, idiot. The fuck is there's an arms supplier. Oh my god.
What?
You alright?
What? Are you alright?
You know what, bitch? No, I'm not. Fuck you.
Good.
Hooker.
I hope you aren't.
I hope you die.
Okay.
Maybe I probably shouldn't say that on Twitch. Oh well,
Just
What
say
is the Dan
in
Clancy
Minecraft.
gonna do, huh?
Ban me. I get
He's gonna
banned
touch your
midstream.
wiener.
No, I'm not an e-girl. He won't touch me.
Well, most e-girls don't even have wieners to touch.
That's the... Yeah. I have to go pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
So ad break in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Shit. The itchy head. Let's see what is our I can't spell this. Not this motherfucker's name. Wants.
Isamar? Isamar? It's French, whatever it is.
Moi.
Oh no! Something bad is happening!
What?
My pants fell off!
Your penis fell off?
Why don't you come and help me put it back on?
How about I don't, and you can staple it yourself.
Staple my pants on?
Not your penis. That's what fell off. Not your pants.
I said pants, but...
Well, I
sure,
said
bro.
penis. But shut your mouth.
You really just want to fondle my balls, don't you?
Yes. Oh. Ugh.
Yeah, that's kind of skibbity.
You're skibbity. My mom just sent a photo up. Oh my god, that's a giant ass Pikachu. It looks like it was trying to escape. Ouch. Whose porn stash is over here? Owen's? Okay. Oh, itchy. Oh wow, 2,500. Carriage. Why should I kneel before this dumbass? Whatever. Fuck. Motherfucker talking about? What carriage? Why are you speaking Shakespearean?
French?
Yeah, French. It's making me go back
Why
there
aren't you
again.
speaking Shakespearean?
Because I'm only somewhat mentally ill.
Yeah, okay.
Shut your ass up, bitch.
What do you want, Barnaby? You know what I want, Barnaby? I want you to hop up here so I can give you pets. Barnaby. Or you can walk away. Donald!
I'm
Stop sniffing each
coming,
other's
I'm coming.
holes.
Oh,
You're what?
I'm coming. Oh, wasn't this where I fought Rahamu, or whatever the fuck his name was?
Ramo, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I cannot speak today. Jesus Christ. I almost said Rahamit for a second there, too.
Rahamet?
Yeah. Just, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me today. The bitch dead. Ex-girlfriend. Interesting. Oh, it was a kid. That's who Carriage is. I was wondering why the fuck Carriage was acting like this. They're a fucking kid. Ow. Calling your dad spineless? Wait till I tell him. Iggy Benedictini. And it's a Lalafell.
Azalea?
Yeah, Iggy Azalea. Let's go with that.
Did you why?
Shut the fuck up.
Who dat? Who dat? Did you why?
God. Itchy. Someone's dead over here. I don't care. Balan's Wonderland. That shitty game? What the fuck? That was loud as hell. Jesus Christ.
So, at the convention I was at earlier, which shall be not be named because I don't want to dox you.
I'm gonna name it.
Or myself. Me and his name is Wyatt were.
I'm okay.
It was me, Wyatt, and his friend Joe, and
Mama?
we were laughing at everything for some reason. And we were laughing at the name of the restaurant we went to. And like we were laughing nonstop. And we actually got to the restaurant, and it's actually two restaurants in one.
Wow.
And I thought I had composed myself. And the guy asked me if we were eating in the burger side that we were going to, or if we were eating in like the more bar, barbecue, restaurant
Ooh,
side.
barbecue.
And I laughed at the guy saying that because both restaurant names are there's something.
Wait,
There's a
message me what the
cocktail.
other name was.
There's a cocktail at one of them called Booty Sweat. That's the level of
Booty sweat?
yeah.
What the fuck? I want to drink it. Fucking poacher, die. Death to poachers. Scumasses. Yeah, you
But,
moan like
yeah.
that, bitch. Oh,
That is really weird.
that is weird. Yeah.
Remind me never to say stuff like that on twitch.tv/player1dylan again.
No.
Why?
'Cause I ain't your keeper.
What about a keeper?
Said I ain't your keeper.
Yes, you are, mommy. Oh.
No, thank you.
What the fuck?
Barnaby.
Oh.
Barnaby. Psst. Come here. Stop whatever you're doing and come here.
I thought I leveled up for a second there. I was maybe like, what?
He's like stalking his brother.
I'm gonna stalk you. Oh.
Barnaby. Barnaby. Barnaby, come here. Come
I
here.
see that side quest. Oh my god. Oh, right up
I
here.
don't know what I'm doing.
Don't tell me what to do, Wilfric. I'll eat your ass. Oh. I mean, I'll beat the shit out of you. I might have an idea where this poacher is. No, I don't. Never mind, I guess. There you are. Itch. Die. Oh. I wanted to kill her. Just kidding.
Maybe come September, I might swap back to Apple. Whenever the iPhone 18 and potentially the foldable comes out, I'm gonna see what the foldable is capable of compared to the Samsung and Google one. Because I really like Android a lot. There's some things I like about Android way more than iOS, but Apple or Google is starting to do the whole like lockdown ecosystem thing now.
What's
just like
that
Apple.
mean?
It means that you can't sideload apps as easy.
Oh, really? What the fuck?
Yeah. Which is a quarter of the reason why I use Android anyway. So if I'm not going to be able to
Yeah.
do that regardless, might as well just be on Apple because unfortunately, I have noticed that certain Android versions of apps are typically behind the iPhone versions.
Oh,
Like
I
they're
didn't
more
know that.
laggy or they're behind update wise. But certain types of apps come out on Android only or Android first. So like there's this thing that I use to remote into my computer from my AYN Thor. It's called Apollo. It's a fork of a piece of software called Sunshine. And
Super Mario Sunshine!
and the Apollo fork, the mobile app only works on Android right now. The iOS version is coming eventually. But the Apollo, it's called Artemis on Android. The Artemis app isn't on the Google Play Store, so you have to sideload it, which might not be possible soon.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's why I did I was like gonna say Lancer. That's why I did Android 2 technically. Also because I just don't like Apple.
I don't really
I
like
didn't know
Google
that either. That some apps are like
Yeah.
behind.
Sometimes. Depends
Sometimes
really
behind.
on what you're doing. That and sometimes Google takes forever to release new updates to Android. And usually most Android phones only get like 2 or 3 Android updates, whereas iPhones typically get supported for a while. Like, I think the iPhone 8 just lost support for the latest version of iOS, which is a 10-year-old phone.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, so the iPhone 8 supports up to iOS 16, so it was actually a little while ago that they stopped. But you can have all the way back to an iPhone 11, which is a 7-year-old phone, and still have the latest iOS version. Whereas I don't think a lot of Android phones from 7 years ago have this. I don't know. Maybe that's changed, but that's the way that it used to be with Android. I don't
Google
actually know
Pixel,
anymore.
I think it's 6 XL has uses the latest Android, latest version of Android. I think, yeah, it does.
It's
I don't know how old mine is.
it's a 5-year-old phone, I think.
I still need to get my I still need to get a new phone. New phone eventually. I still need to get the latest version. Pixel XL. We gotta still go over that as well to see if we can find a day we can you, me, and my dad can maybe meet up at the mall or a Verizon, wherever another Verizon store is, and do that.
There's not too much to go over. It's just you show up, you pay whatever the fee is, and you have a new phone.
Okay, how much was the fee again for the Google Pixel
Probably
10 XL Pro or whatever it's called?
it's probably the taxes. So whatever the taxes on the phone would be. It's probably like $200.
Okay.
I think I might run down to the corner store and grab a little sody pop.
Get me something, just kidding.
No. Only when you pay me $765.32 for
No.
services rendered.
What the fuck?
I don't know what came over me. Hey, Mama! But I'm actually probably not going to do that right yet. I'm going to continue my research.
And Ty?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't need to hop on for break. God damn it. Sprite apple. Isn't it an apple that tastes like Sprite? That would be good.
What?
I don't know.
Enemy!
What's up, Donald? Come here. Come on. You're allowed up here. Come here.
No, you're not. Leave! My dad keeps texting me.
Tell him to touch my dingling. Come on up. Good boy.
No, come back. Come back.
My God, my dad.
No, you're dead. I said loot do. You'll know what I'm talking about. Don't actually. He won't know what I'm talking about because I don't know what I'm talking about. Shing, 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 shing.
I have to go all the way up there. Okay.
You better give me a poo. Da 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 boo da da boo. Skibbity button bada boom. And a skibbity bada bada beady beady bow.
God.
Uh. You better clean up your looks. Now that I think about it, I don't know where my iPhone is.
31.
My iPhone, my iPhone 14, is either somewhere in my room at home or on my desk at work. Probably on my desk at work. Because I use it to test certain things. I mean, I have a work iPhone that I test things on mostly now, but also my two-factor authentication is linked to my my personal iPhone. So, and I'm too lazy to swap it over.
Ah.
I'm a little lazy boy. I'm also looking at this Apple iPhone upgrade program because it sounds
They're in here.
weird. After 1 year, you have the option to upgrade to the next phone. So like a 17 to an 18. And Apple Care Plus coverage is included.
The fuck is? Oh, it's probably in here. No, I can't get it.
Interesting.
I gotta go over here.
You better clean up your legs.
Oh.
I'm going to pick up a brand new iPhone in the town of. Ah, my bones are. Anyway.
What the fuck? Febreze, get the fuck off there. Bad bird.
Clean up your goon. Hello.
Cracker story.
I'm flying! Whee!
I'll go with steak or a crumpet. Steak.
Cheese and crumpet.
Hey, that corrobot!
Ex-girlfriend's here. Why is she stalking me? Haha, just kidding. I've never dated anyone. Anyways.
Actually.
Shut the fuck up. We don't talk about her. That was middle school.
I'm just saying on a technicality.
And it really wasn't dating. It was just, I don't know.
I was gonna talk about your Wizard 101 girlfriend, but
Oh, that only lasted like 2 days, I think. That was stupid of me, too.
I'm just saying, Wizard 101 girlfriend is the deepest relationship of them all.
Okay. What the fuck?
You're still married to that girl, too. I hope you know that's how Wizard 101 relationships work.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. You're married to her forever. Your
Oh.
souls are forever intertwined.
I'm gonna intertwine your intestine.
Whoa. I love seeing my own intestines. What are you talking about, Dylan?
I don't know. And obviously I do have a crush on someone, but you know, it's probably never gonna work out, but my butthole
I
itches.
knew you were in love with Connor.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna dox Connor right now.
God.
Connor Klingon.
Owner Klingon?
Yeah.
God. Connor Klingon Cotton.
Make him sound like a racist.
As he is. Just-
Shit, fuck!
Yo, Tango.
Right?
I don't know.
Freerin
Yeah.
Schlatfield? Oh, it's literally Freerin. Or whatever the fuck her name is. Anime, but it's a Lalafell. I can say names correctly. Ad break in 5 minutes.
I'm excited.
Shut
I
up,
don't know.
bitch. You're a bitch. Nah, 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 nah.
I'm gonna touch someone.
You better fucking let me through, asshole.
You're gonna do what to my butthole?
Asshole. Cloven hoof tours.
You're doing what? To my
Heard
who?
me. Heard me. God, itchy balls. Let me in. Oh, cool. I gotta use something on a creature that I'm probably gonna one-shot. And I gotta slay it. Wait, maybe... No, I think I just gotta... Oh my god, that thing's huge. Maybe I just gotta hit it once. Hit it.
Yes, you only have to use it and then kill
Good.
it.
That was easy. Oh, damn, it's another big one. Thank God.
I'm gonna llama
Llama
slama.
llama ding dong.
Mr.
Abused
Bombastic.
adventurer. Get this man away from me. I did not see that. What the fuck? Itchy eyeball. Oh.
Mauzow.
Wowie zowie.
Mao Zedong.
Yeah, mouse. I'll show you my mouse, dog.
Oh! What the Mao Zedong is going on here? Mr. Bombastic.
I got itchy. Visit Player One Dylan's coffee page at Yo Mama. Yes, give me money. Just kidding. Is that antelope shank? Yes. Oh, this guy has 3 quests. Jesus Christ. Okay. Hold on. I want to check something. Okay. Yep. I gotta take this enemy mine. Damn, you're a Makote too. What are you talking about?
Blah, 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 blah.
Me, a monk? No, I'm a ranger. Yeah,
Monkey.
monkey. A monk. Sorry. Gee, I don't want to sell that. There. 21.
Verizon's been doing all sorts of weird things with plans lately,
Who?
like mobile plans. Verizon.
Oh.
They've been doing things like certain things that used to be included in plans are now add-ons. So some plans are cheaper, but they don't include what they used to include, but you can add it back on. But I haven't done the math to figure out if it's still the same price if you do that. They've also added, like, the plan I have, I swapped to, because it has, like, free international talk and text and data for, like, 10 gigs of international data per month, which matters because Canada counts as international, and my dad and I like to go to Canada, and then also it saved me a bunch of money when I went over to Japan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm looking at T-Mobile. I don't know how I ended up on the T-Mobile website, but I'm looking at T-Mobile and I think it's cheaper.
Oh. Are we gonna probably
My
switch
biggest
then?
thing I don't know. I'd have to look more into it.
And hopefully they can
mean-
get me a plan too to like get a new phone.
Thing
Maybe I
is,
should
don't
do the
know.
Verizon thing first beforehand. Actually,
I wouldn't worry about that right now, only because usually when you swap to a carrier, they give you a bunch of stuff for free.
Oh, okay.
So I would just have to figure out what they will do, like what I'm getting. Because, I mean, swapping to T-Mobile. I mean, if it was just me, it would be really easy, because I just go and I do stuff with my phone. But swapping to T-Mobile isn't going to be easy if I were to do it, because I'd have to coordinate with Tessa, because she's still on my plan.
That's right, yeah.
And then there's you, there's my mom, my grandma, and me. So it's not just a simple thing. If I were to swap to T-Mobile, I would probably do it in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
I've got to figure out what they're gonna. I mean,
So I should wait to
Most
get
of
a new phone through Verizon.
maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to figure out. If it's even worth it. Like if it would actually be cheaper.
Okay. Then I'll wait for you to do that, and then if you do or don't switch, then I'll just get a new phone. Or eventually. Through
So
whatever.
what I'm looking at is
Excuse me.
third line is free, so I would only be paying for 3 lines. Can I count? I don't think I can count. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can't count. That's nice. Don't tell my work that. Can I do like a mixed plan thing? Because I don't think everyone needs the plan I'm thinking of getting. Just because I don't want to pay for. Whoa. Whoa. That's cool.
What?
The sun coming through the window of the room that I'm sitting in is like orange on the wall. It looks really cool.
Oh, nice. Let me jump up, damn it. Oh, I gotta find 8? Jesus criminy. Criminy! More roaches.
I wonder if T-Mobile has a deal for tablets. What if I can swap and get a tablet for free? Ooh.
I want a tablet too. I
Well,
also
too
need
bad.
one to call people. Oh my god, I almost fell.
If we lived in Europe, you could use a tablet as a phone.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh my god.
You can have a cell line on tablets in the US, but they're data only.
Oh my
You can't actually call using them.
sucks.
Yeah, they're nice home. Uh-huh. So I want to look at the plans. So the plans are better value, essential, and uh, there's better value, essential, experience more, and experience beyond. So what are the difference between these? Experience beyond gives you 5-year price guarantee, upgrade every year with the same great deals as new customers, T satellite
I think I got
included,
everything from here too.
unlimited
Oh, no, I
premium data, Netflix standard with ads, Apple TV for 3 months or $3 a month, Hulu on Us, watch and tablet lines at $5 a month, unlimited mobile hotspot, unlimited text, 30 gigabytes of high-speed data in Canada and Mexico. That's good. That's good. And unlimited text, 15 gigs of high-speed data in 215 plus countries and destinations. All right, so that sounds like what I want.
I'm fine with whatever one you get, honestly.
But the better value also has. So what's the difference between better value and experience beyond? Oh, I can't tell most of it, but it seems like the experience beyond comes with upgrading every year, whereas the better value is just upgrading every 2 years, which is fine. I don't need a new phone every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I don't need every year either.
La 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 la. Sure. La 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 la. La 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 la. It's recommending a Pixel 10a for you, my mom, and my grandmother.
Okay.
That one's the weaker version over the
Oh.
10.
I need the
They'd
XL
probably
because it
bump-
would be bigger for me.
And you don't need the XO.
Well, it's probably because it's big enough for me and stuff, but I don't know.
It's not really that much bigger.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, it's like an inch or two. It all
Then I'd
depends
be
on
fine
the.
with that then.
It's also $200 more.
Yeah. I'll take
It
the
all
A
depends
then.
on the. Well, I'm looking at all the different things. I'm just gonna set everyone to a 10 Pro, just to see. I don't want to type in phone numbers. I don't know what everyone's phone number is.
You want to type in mine? I can send it to you.
No, I
Okay.
have access to. I have
Oh, yeah,
access
that's
to
right.
the Verizon thing. Dylan's phone number is 676767.
Can't believe it. I didn't even know that.
Dylan doesn't know how to read.
I don't. You're right. I like shit though.
Dylan's never read anything in his life.
You're right. I haven't.
La 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 la.
Shut up.
You have a. I don't want to type in your IMEI. Why can't I add? Come on, just give me the things I said.
Oh, true. I would.
I don't think I would want to see that.
What does the lumber get from?
It's trying to upgrade. It's trying to upgrade Tessa to a Pro Max phone. An iPhone Pro Max. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps asking me what my credit score is. I gotta tell it I've got the best credit score on the face of the planet.
CreditKarma.com. Adamantoise. Gee. Nah. Shut up, computer.
I mean, at
I
the
don't care
very
if you're
least, if
struggling.
I am going to swap to T-Mobile soon, it's probably going to be when Tessa is back from school.
Yeah, she's coming back the 18th, I think.
Oh, really? That soon?
Yeah.
Oh, my bones!
What the fuck?
I was just stretching.
Oh,
I don't even know where the closest T-Mobile store to me is.
I don't know either.
There's only two kinds of companies that I care if there's actually one near to me, and that's phone providers and internet providers.
Yeah.
I know where all the Verizon stores are near us. I have no idea where any T-Mobiles are. And I'm not
Oh, that
talking
was the
about,
restaurant's name. Okay.
like, Metro. I don't want Metro by T-Mobile, and I don't want a T-Mobile.
Metro mattress. Number one superstar.
Nope.
Why are you saying no?
Because I said so.
Well, you should die. Okay, I got everything done in the East Shroud. What's next? Or the South Shroud. Am I in the South Shroud? Yeah, I'm in
Also,
the South
probably
Shroud.
because you probably just doxed us.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Metro mattresses out there that are not
There's
where.
6.
Are they all where we live?
Half of them.
Yeah, only half
No,
of them.
There's quite a few. Well, I mean, when I say quite a few, I mean they're all in our general region, except for
Oh,
one.
Who knows? I could be talking about that one that may or may not
The
be in our
only-
region.
There's only one T-Mobile store that's like an actual T-Mobile store, not a reseller. Which, I mean, doesn't matter, I guess. It's a little bit further away from me than the Verizon store. Well, I say a little bit further away. It's just because it's actually not that much further. It's maybe like 5 minutes further.
Oh.
The only reason why I'm hesitant is because it's on a street I don't like driving on.
Oh shit.
It's not because it's a bad street or anything. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
What is my sister doing at the mall? She's not allowed there. She got banned.
Really?
Yeah,
The
I'm
mall?
lying.
That
I'm
what you
lying.
said?
I like to. Yeah.
Oh. You'll
Now,
never
before
lie to
I
me
think
again.
about- Before I think about what phone I would get if we swap to T-Mobile, I have to check to see what I can get away with on iOS for RetroArch. I gotta see what systems are supported on RetroArch for iOS. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter because I have my AOI Thor, and I still have an Android phone. I just wouldn't be using it as much. I'm gonna get all decked out. I'm gonna get like the Apple Vision Pro, and then I'm gonna get like an Apple Watch. I'm gonna get the Apple AirPods, and I'm gonna be walking around like a cyborg.
God.
And I'm gonna cause a car crash because the Vision Pro dies halfway through driving to work, and I veer off the side of the road and blow up.
God. And blow up. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I want to blow up.
I'll never make that sound again.
Too well. Mickey.
I absolutely will. You're gonna Metro my mattress?
Yeah, the #1 superstore. Man, shut your fucking ass up. Anyways, I'm gonna end stream.
Anyway.
I'm gonna go raid someone, but I'll still be in chat.
I'm gonna chat you up.
Hey, little mama.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Don't ever call me that again, you freak.
Hey, big boy.
That's fine.
Hey there, big boy.
Hey there, sexy man.
Can you lippy tappy my tutor?
What the fuck does that mean?
Haktua.
Shut the fuck up. One more word about Haktua and I'm gonna kill you.
Haktua?
That's it. You're gonna die now.
I'm gonna tippy tap tippy two.
Yeah.
Biggie.
Knock to ask, have I knocked myself out? Okay.
What are you talking
Slash raid. I'm gonna raid DG. See where. Also.
You're gonna raid my panties?
Yes. Did I spell her name right? Oh shit! I can't raid her at this time. Damn. Okay, who else can I raid? Justice.
Shamalama ding dong?
Yeah, I'm gonna shamalama ding.
You're gonna shamalama my Kamala Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris. What? Oh my fucking god! What is wrong with you? Anyways, I gotta wait for ads. Hold on.
If you enjoyed the stream, check out. I don't know. I'm gonna send a virus link in your chat, and everyone needs to click on it.
Aw. Anyways, if you all enjoyed what you watched, make sure to like, comments. Wait, that's for my YouTube shit. Oh. Anyways, we're gonna go raid my friend Justice. He is playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Make sure to give him the support stuff, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
I'm touching my wiener.